Welcome to our debate section. Your goal is to listen carefully, think critically, and share your opinion. There are no single correct answers. What matters is being able to explain your ideas clearly and respectfully. This section will help you practice important speaking skills such as expressing opinions, agreeing and disagreeing, giving reasons and examples, speculating about possible solutions. So get ready to think, speak, and debate in English.
You know, John, it's funny because when you mention formal letter, a lot of people probably picture quill pens and parchment. Honestly, it's a skill that's as relevant today as it ever was. Think about it. Job applications, official complaints, contacting an organization. These aren't situations for a quick text, are they?
Exactly. I recently had to write one to my landlord about a maintenance issue, and I realized how much I had to consciously think about the tone and structure, even after years of just firing off emails. It's a completely different mindset.
It really is. And that's where we want to help our listeners today. We're going to break down how to write a formal letter that isn't just correct, but truly effective and professional. Because, let's face it, a poorly written formal letter can actually do more harm than good.
Absolutely. So let's start with the absolute basics, Elizabeth. What's the very first thing someone should consider when they sit down to write a formal letter?
Structure, hands down. A formal letter needs a clear beginning, middle, and end. It's like building a house. You wouldn't just throw up walls randomly, right? You need a foundation, a frame, and a roof. The same goes for your letter.
That's a great analogy. So what goes into that foundation or the very beginning of the letter?
Okay, so at the very top you need your own address. This usually goes in the top right-hand corner. Then, below that, on the left, you put the date. After the date, you'll put the address of the person or organization you're writing to.
Right, so your address, then the date, then the recipient's address. It sounds simple, but I've definitely seen people get that order mixed up or even forget to include some of those key pieces of information.
And it makes such a difference. Including your address immediately tells the reader who you are and how to contact you. The date is crucial for record keeping, especially if it's a legal or time-sensitive matter, and the recipient's address ensures the letter reaches the right place and shows you've done your homework.
It also signals a level of professionalism, doesn't it? It shows you're taking this seriously, not just scribbling a note on a napkin.
Exactly. It sets the tone even before they've read a single word of your message. Now, after all those essential details, we move on to one of the most important and often tricky parts, the greeting.
Ah, the greeting. I confess, I've had moments where I've almost typed, "Hey there," before catching myself. Old habits die hard when you're used to informal communication.
Oh, absolutely. It's a common trap. But in formal letters, those informal greetings like hi or hello are a definite no-go. We're aiming for respect and professionalism here. So, what are our best options?
Well, the classic "Dear Sir" or "Madam" comes to mind first. It's a safe bet when you don't know the recipient's name.
Spot on. Dear Sir or Madam is perfect when you're writing to an organization generally, or if you genuinely don't know the specific person you need to address. It's formal, polite, and universally understood. However, what if you do know the person's name?
Then you absolutely should use it. Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Ms. Jones. Using their name shows you've done your research and you're addressing them directly. It adds a personal, yet still formal, touch.
Precisely. And a quick note on MMs for women, it's generally preferred over Miss or Mrs. unless you know their specific marital status and preference. MNs is a neutral, respectful option. It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about your attention to detail and respect.
That's a fantastic tip, Elizabeth. So we've got our addresses, our date, and our proper formal greeting. Now we're finally getting into the meat of the letter, the main body.
This is where the real work happens. The language here needs to be clear, polite, and direct. Think of it like this. You want to convey your message without any room for misunderstanding, but you also want to maintain a respectful and professional tone. No slang, no jargon, no overly emotional language.
And politeness, even if you're writing a complaint. It's easy to get frustrated and let that creep into your writing, but it's rarely effective, is it?
You hit the nail on the head. An angry, aggressive letter is often dismissed. A clear, polite, but firm letter stating the facts and your desired outcome is far more likely to get a positive response. People are generally more receptive when they're not feeling attacked.
So how do we keep it clear and organized within the main body? Any tips on paragraph structure?
Absolutely. Each paragraph should focus on one main idea. This is crucial for readability. If you're talking about a leaky faucet in one paragraph, don't suddenly jump to a noise complaint in the next sentence. Give each issue its own space. This helps the reader follow your argument or information easily.
That makes total sense. It prevents the reader from getting overwhelmed or confused. It's like presenting a logical argument piece by piece.
Exactly. And to help organize that information and ensure a smooth flow, we use linkers or transition words. These are incredibly useful for connecting ideas between sentences and paragraphs.
Can you give us some examples of those linkers?
Of course, common ones include, however, to introduce a contrasting idea, although for a concession, or because to explain a reason. Others are, furthermore, in addition, consequently, therefore, in conclusion. These words act like signposts, guiding the reader through your thoughts.
So, instead of just a string of sentences, you're building a structured argument. I am writing to complain about X. However, I understand that Y. Therefore, I propose Z. It just sounds more professional and easier to digest.
Precisely. It shows a logical thought process. And while we're on the topic of language, there's another really important rule for formal letters. Avoid contractions.
Like don't instead of do not or can't instead of cannot. I often catch myself doing that.
Yes, those exactly. In formal writing, using the full form of words, do not, cannot, it is, you are, lends a more serious and deliberate tone to your message. Contractions are perfectly fine for informal conversations, but in a formal letter, they can make your writing seem too casual, almost sloppy.
It's interesting how small these things seem individually, but when you combine them, they really elevate the overall impression of the letter, don't they?
They absolutely do. Each element contributes to the professionalism and credibility of your communication. Think of a lawyer's letter, for instance. You wouldn't expect to see contractions or informal greetings in that, would you? The stakes are too high.
Good point. So, we've walked through the beginning with addresses and date, the greeting, and the structured, clear, and polite main body. Now, how do we bring it all to a graceful and formal close?
The ending of the letter, just like the greeting, needs to be polite and formal. This is where you sign off. The two most common and appropriate expressions are yours faithfully and yours sincerely.
Okay, so when do you use yours faithfully versus yours sincerely? Is there a specific rule there?
There absolutely is, and it's a common point of confusion. You use yours faithfully when you began your letter with dear sir or madam, essentially when you don't know the name of the person you're writing to. It's the formal closing for an unknown recipient.
Got it. So, dear sir or madam at the start, yours faithfully at the end. That makes it easier to remember. And then yours sincerely is for?
Yours sincerely is used when you do know the name of the person you're writing to, meaning you started your letter with Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Ms. Jones. So if you've personalized the greeting, you personalize the closing.
That's a really clear distinction. I think a lot of people just pick one randomly, but knowing that rule makes a big difference. After the closing, what's next?
After your chosen closing phrase, you leave a few lines for your signature if it's a printed letter, and then you type your full name. If you have a title or position like manager or head of department, you might include that below your name, especially in a professional context.
So it's not just a quick scribble, it's a formal finalization of your identity and role. It truly caps off the professionalism.
Precisely. In conclusion, writing a good formal letter really comes down to careful organization and maintaining an appropriate tone throughout. It's a combination of these small but significant elements that create an effective and professional piece of communication.
And the impact of that, as we discussed at the start, can be huge. Whether it's landing a job interview, getting a complaint resolved, or simply making a good impression, a well-crafted formal letter is a powerful tool.
It truly is. It speaks volumes about your attention to detail, your respect for the recipient, and your overall professionalism. In a world where so much communication is hurried, taking the time to write a proper formal letter really stands out.
So, next time you're faced with a situation that calls for a formal letter, remember these tips. Take your time, focus on the structure, use the right greeting, be clear and polite in your body paragraphs, avoid contractions, and finish strong with a formal closing.
You'll be amazed at the difference it makes, and practice really does make perfect. The more you write, the more natural it will feel. Don't be afraid to draft and revise. It's all part of the process.
Fantastic advice, Elizabeth. Thanks for breaking down this essential skill for us today. It's been incredibly helpful.
Thank you for listening to Listen Up English. By subscribing and sharing our content, you support the channel and help more learners develop their English listening comprehension.